I am back with a guest now. So I'm live in the studio with my friend Bruce. What's up, Bruce?
Hello, hello. How are we?
We are great. How are you today?
I'm really good. I'm feeling great, and I'm loving the snow on the island today. I love it.
You are?
Now
That's nice.
Yeah, now that the roads are, once the roads are clear, I just like seeing the snow.
I agree. It makes it so much cleaner looking too everywhere.
It's brighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as dreary as a winter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, once the roads are clear. Once there's not almost a whole foot of snow on the roads. That was pretty crazy. It happened so fast, I feel like.
It wasn't fun to fishtail around in my little Prius. But
yeah, I was supposed to work in industry actually that night, and then the bands dropped, and then I was like, all right, cool. Like, my car won't stop anyway, so this is better off for everybody. But, Yes, but we're looking forward to the winter and the warmer times over here. And just to shout out your other group, Almost Elijah.
Yeah.
You got, the album with the seasons and all of that.
Yes.
All your songs are seasons.
Yeah.
But guys, so we're here with Bruce AllOne. This is AllOne Voice right here. A Long Island legend. I'm sure you guys have seen his stickers before. Yeah, those are around. And you guys have probably seen Bruce around. Because, Bruce, how long have you been, do you think, if you had to guess?
I mean, I've been definitely active on the Long Island scene performing since, I want to say, 2005, 2004.
Crazy.
Just performing open mics and whatnot. And then there was a couple of little ideas, but doing AllOne as a moniker happened around probably 2007 or 8. And then, I put my first album out officially 2010. So since June of 2010, I've been releasing music consistently for, coming up on almost 15 years. And, So
15? Are you sure that number is right?
Is that right?
I don't think so.
2010. Yeah, we're old.
I think it's we're old
right.
now.
2010 is 15 years ago.
Yes, I guess that's true.
Yeah, if math is still mathin' today, as it always.
That's crazy though. That is a long time.
It is.
And you've done so much in between.
Yeah.
Recording and even being a live performer. You went to school, you had different things going on, and you still made time for it, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I just in May graduated from Stony Brook, from here, with a bachelor's in journalism, and I was working on a lot of different projects, as I always am. But even this For Mara's project that we can get into talking about at some point, and that I'll be performing some songs from, that I was working on for a couple years, and just because school takes a lot of focus, I just kind of felt like, take time, don't just rush and put it out and then not be able to give the proper time to perform it and share it and promote it and whatnot. So but I don't know, I think if you're an artist, you're just always making something and tinkering and creating, and that's what kind of keeps you going. And I always remind people the time's going to pass anyway, so you might as well try to do things you enjoy, whether or not you know what the results are going to be.
Valid. Yeah. And, the For Mara's EP that you just released, when was that? It was only a month ago, right? Maybe not even.
Yeah, it was January 21st, so
cool.
Almost, maybe tomorrow will be 3 weeks.
Nice.
So it's really fresh.
Yeah, it's really fresh. And those are songs I feel like that have been in the rotation for a little while. So you finally got them all recorded and out there physically. And that's really exciting stuff too. So did you do any sort of release celebration? What'd you do?
Yeah.
Tell us.
So this is funny because Jackie ran sound at that event. But I did an album release show at Industry in Huntington, which to my mind is Long Island's premier music venue, place for culture, hub for creative bohemian folks to gather. I just think they do a great job of presenting all kinds of different expression and allowing space for that. So I performed there solo and had my friend Covey come up, which you'll hear him on a song eventually that we play. And then I had Lorianne Crayus and her band come up and back me with these live music renditions of the songs on the EP. And And that was a really, really special night, and a lot of folks came out, and family and friends and people I wasn't expecting, and it was just a proper celebration. And honestly, I feel like if you're not, like, it's great to be able to put things out on streaming and make videos and reels and all that stuff, but like, I don't think if it translates to a human experience out in the actual concrete world of people, like, it just doesn't feel the same. So I'm really happy that I didn't just press, publish on a website and then had to make Instagram stuff after that. Like, I got to be in a space with people and perform and whatnot. It wasn't about content. It was about like creating moments with people. So that's ideal. And this is like meant to be a really healing album. So like, it felt right to have that kind of experience with people in a room and sharing that and being cathartic with making music and art. So yeah.
That was a really special show. I do remember it. I just wanted everyone else to know what happened.
I see your strategy.
Yeah. No. It really was, though. I do, of course, remember that show. And I wasn't supposed to be there, remember? And then, like, all of a sudden, I got asked to work, like, kind of last minute. And I was like, I think it was actually the day before.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we were I think we were in rehearsal.
Wait, no, it was the day of. I got asked to work the day of.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, of course we'll be there for Bruce and Lorianne.
That's a testament to Jackie as a professional and a friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't let you down on a very important night, honestly, it was. And even for Lorianne, too. Oh, my God. Yeah, she was playing as a trio that night, and I remember, like, almost every song, I'm just, like, crying.
I know. Too much talent. It's too much talent. It's so good.
It was crazy, but
I love it. It was great.
We do love industry, though. I mean, I've been there so much recently, and like every show is, every band that comes in there is like super special, and like actually, that place is really the new spot to really share your art. I feel because they really don't mind taking chances on artists, and that's really important in the scene. And obviously though, like, your album is super special and definitely means a lot to you because you've been working on that for a long time, and I feel that it was smart of you to not do it just like when you were in school, because you wouldn't have really been able to like do that, or you would have been like, cool, now I have to go
do the next thing
home.
Yeah.
I have to go to school like next, so
and I did put an album out like earlier on when I was first here in like 2021, which with the same producer, Conscious Robot,
of course,
which is called Emotionauts, which the Four Maras is kind of like a epilogue to that album. It's sort of like a follow-up, healing kind of response to it. But it was tough. Like, I remember being like, oh my God, I have so much work to do. And then, you just living that double, triple life of like, I'm an old man. I'm 36 and I'm in school. So it's like I have to do school, but then I have my own life. I have to work and pay rent and, and I'm very grateful I get to do all that. It's not complaining, but it does get tough to juggle. And I think that's where like trying to be strategic about it is, because I always want to jump the gun, and I always want to kind of put the cart before the horse, share things before it's smart to do it. Like, I don't want to wait. I just want to get it out in the world, share it, and then move on to the next thing.
But you didn't do that this time.
This time I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to learn, live and learn a little bit.
Well, it's perfect.
And now that I'm out, I feel like so creatively like active, and I'm making so much stuff with so many good talented people, so it's cool. And like you said, like industry and all, there's a couple venues that are doing a lot of really cool stuff in terms of supporting artists and original acts and whatnot, which I think it's tough. It's a business risk to do stuff like that.
It is a business risk.
And these are tough times, so I don't fault anybody for taking an easy route, but also like the culture needs to flourish, so it's good that there are people who are being a beacon for that kind of thing. Industry is definitely one of them. And I like that they do, it's like almost every medium of expression gets a chance there. Like, they do all kinds of stuff. The dance nights, they did like whiskey nights for a while. That So.
They have that. We'll shout out our friends from Hot Wax.
Oh yes.
They're going to be doing a vinyl fair on February 22nd from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in Industry.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's a long day. I'll be there right after that because I will be working there that night. But I'll try. I'll try to get there.
That sounds like
at
a fun
4:45 right before.
A vinyl share. That's
vinyl
pretty neat.
fair.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
My brain works in rhymes. So
No, it's okay.
If I mishear things,
You also couldn't see the paper, and
that's
now
a
you
good
can.
point. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay.
But So industry is very special. I'm really glad you got to really share your project there, and we dialed it in. I remember it was awesome. That was really great, beautiful set, and I'm glad I was there for it because I almost wasn't.
Me too.
And it's been so nice. Like, I know that you've gone through so many like waves with your projects. I'm fortunate enough to have seen it for a number of years now, like 10 years probably.
Yeah.
And what's cool too for me is I feel like the minute I started to get involved in the scene, I started to meet people like you and like Dysfunctone and bands that are still very relevant now, and I've been able to see everybody like grow for the past like 10 years of me being involved too. And anyway, so we have extra time today, so I'm like, let us drag it out.
That's fine.
Let us talk. But anyway, so Bruce is also involved in another project, Almost Elijah, which is also because your name was Almost Elijah,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. It's a very literal story, but it's kind of my indie folk duo band. With my buddy Johnny, who's one of my oldest childhood friends that I've known since forever. And he plays guitar, and I sing, I write most of the songs, and play a little harmonica. We're actually playing at, speaking of places that support local music, we're playing a show Friday, March 7th at Soul Brew in St. James at 7 o'clock, and with Ava Lena, who we met at the open mic there that you run. So, once again, open mics.
We're circling.
Yes. So, I was almost named Elijah up till like the very last day or two, and Bruce came up. I actually don't remember why it was Bruce. I seem to remember it was because I was named after a dog, but I don't know.
Really?
It feels like that could be true. And I've been told I have golden retriever energy most of the time.
so it must be true.
Yeah, enthusiastic in every direction. So I thought, well, in like a butterfly effect kind of way, it might be cool to reference this thing of like, what if one thing was different? Like, what if I wasn't Bruce? What if I was Elijah? Like,
what if I was almost?
Yeah, I am almost Elijah. Later on, in that world, I'd be almost Bruce. Right, and then my side project would be Almost Bruce, and it'd be like a rap project. So I was like, it would be interesting if, like, what if my name changed just enough things that I was a folk person instead of like mostly doing hip hop related stuff. Like, that's what I'll name my side project. I don't know. It's interesting to think about how those little things can change.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's been fun, and as the fun thing about experimenting and making music and creative stuff over the years is you get to kind of synthesize all the different stuff that you're into and all the different techniques you learn or styles you get into, and I think like alchemize all that into the next thing that you make. Not just the technical things that you learn, but also the stylistic approaches or like aesthetic approaches to what you're making. And that's been always kind of something I try to do is like keep on growing and changing directions and keep it interesting for myself.
Yeah, no, I think you've done that a lot. Like I've seen you in many phases, like I said, and it's always interesting. I'm never like, it's Bruce.
It's the same old thing.
Bruce is gonna go up there.
That's my nightmare. My nightmare is to be boring or to be bored.
Well, guess what? You're the opposite.
Yes.
And speaking of making stuff, I think we should show everyone something that you've made.
Yeah, so we're going to play a song from Four Maras called Klesha, which features my friend Covey. It's a little bit about the idea that a lot of times when we are feeling upset, it can feel so validating to just get into your anger and to get into your rage or your upset and not actually step away from that and, figure out the idea and start healing and changing. So it's kind of based around that concept.
All right, perfect. So we are about to hear that, everyone.
I've chosen to be here, to feel it.
fixate on the feelings I feel, I don't have to fix it. No heroic impositions, if positioned as the victim, assailed by doubt when I know it's a simple solution. I'm bailing out the ocean using a thimble to do it. Short fuse when I set the pace, a pity party, foul powder, kegger, question friends and neighbors till my echo chambers acquiescing, death and danger. When my reddened face is center stage, my better nature gets in danger. The charm is gone, I'm becoming overwhelmed. The walls, they fall around me, it all cascades, surrounds the space. I run the gamut of the labyrinths of my thoughts. I'm making mountains out of molehills that I'll die on. A single misstep and I'm casted as a crime boss. I crush the stress and known as need the crutch of my cross. Pettily study every mess beneath the microscope. Can't brush it off, I pull my hair out with a fine-tooth comb. I'm so at home in a smoldering house. If nothing's wrong, then it's sober now. Sobering how it's sober.
The tendency to see selectively, i.e. the past random, a postmodern paradigms and brash standings. Whether it's a mirrored blade or a glass cannon, I treated every chance to be great as a crash landing. Instead I should settle for civil at best. Invisible wretch, vivisections held into my chest. Was there a vigil for a musician that isn't depressed? Not religious, but it's what I consider given a test.
I've chosen to be here to feel it, knowing that my fear won't heal.
All right, everyone, we're back. That was such a great recording of that song. I've been loving that song for years. And here it is.
Yeah, my new strategy has been try to, that's okay. My new strategy has been try to perform songs for a little while before I start taking them into the studio. And I think that's kind of always helped me. You know, like things change as you perform them. You understand the songs more. You hear different ways to use your voice, or you get ideas. I mean, on this album, people won't hear it listening to the radio, but I'm going to perform the first song on it. And the way the album opens is there's this chant that you heard in the last song, I'm here to feel it, my fear won't heal it. And I start the album with recordings of people doing that chant with me in the crowd at the shows. So it was like, that wouldn't be able to happen if I was just doing it in my bedroom and making music and never taking these songs live and being part of a space with actual people, right? So I feel like that was a really nice thing to be able to do.
Your music, I feel like, is very connecting to the crowd, too, every time. Like, everyone's always, like, captivated. So
I try. You know?
It does work. It does work.
It's tough. I think I make music that's probably best experienced, like, in headphones when you have time to think about it and listen, because it's so dense. But at the same time, like, I love performing so much, and I love being a part of a space and being a part of an audience. And so I try my best to like almost forgive myself or give credit to the audience, and be like, okay, I know there's a lot of stuff you have to hear right now, which if you're like a rap fan, that's not a big deal, but I know it can be taxing to just like hear words. So I try to be like, okay, you know, you do the call or response, you try to change it up, have dynamics in the set, and that's been something that's happened over time, that I've learned, right? You just learn that, and I think cutting my teeth at all those open mics and stuff years ago, that was like really important, and I learned so much from that.
That's interesting, because that's like honestly not something I would have thought of, and I guess you wouldn't unless you're you or you know someone in that position in your performance, because like I guess it's true, you do say a lot of like thinking words to people,
like,
and
you can't, people are at a show at the end of the day, like even if you're a fan of mine and you want to come and see what I do and you love, like maybe you like the songs a lot, like they're hard songs to memorize if you're going to be nice enough to memorize them, right? And then so you're just kind of hearing them wash over you. It's a lot. So I try to make enough of a dynamic where, like, you know, okay, we did a bunch of sad songs, let's throw like a kind of a party trick interactive freestyle type thing into it, or let's do a song where there's more singing, or, you know, it's less dense, or let's cut a beat out entirely and just have it be like a spoken word moment where I'm out in the crowd and I'm not even using a mic, and just enough things that make people feel present and connected, because I don't like to feel like I'm over here doing this, you're over there doing that, and like we all know how this is supposed to go. Like that's not, we're
and you're like,
all in the
I'm
same
the
room.
show.
Yeah, like it's not about that. We're all in the same room together. And so I think like trying to acknowledge that is probably one of the things that makes someone a good performer. And all the people that I've felt really, really like amazed by when I have seen performances, you kind of felt that palpable energy in the room and you felt connected to people, right? And it felt like you were part of something that could only happen that night. So that's something I try to capitalize on, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And that was something I had to learn too about the recording. Like sometimes my recordings, like I said, I think they're too stiff sometimes. Like I was just focused on getting it so right, but that doesn't always mean the energy's there or something. So like performing it and getting comfortable with it, I think eventually like I was able to kind of do the two things and become better in the studio over time. So hopefully that's reflecting in the new music I'm putting out.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Back when I didn't really understand anything music related, people would always be like, oh, like, got this, like, let's say a band I knew got something recorded, and then someone would say, it doesn't sound like them, though.
Right.
And I'd be like, it's them.
It is the
though.
song.
Like, you know, people would be like, oh, that is them, though. Like, and then, but now, obviously, now I understand what that means. And I do feel like
it's hard to capture energy,
yeah,
you know, and that's, like, and I've definitely had people say things both ways, like, oh, I really love the recorded versions of this, and like it, you know, there's only so much you can do live, you know, a lot of times it's just me, so like I can use a looper, I can use an effects pedal, whatever, or I can have someone come up and help, you know, back me up, but at the end of the day, like I'm doing so much different layering and stuff, and you're playing around with the mix so much in the recordings that you can't always translate that to live, and that's also something that I've done. Like I do songs differently when I'm performing them. Like there's the Constant Reminders song with my Nana. There's a whole third verse on the recording that I love, but I'm singing and rapping at the same time. And I have just come to feel that at that point, it's better for me to just sing that last section and for it to feel really like emotional in the live setting, as opposed to just continuing to rap and like have a bunch of bars coming at you and whatnot. I think it's more an emotional resonating thing, and people seem to agree. To like, okay, we've had all these words, we've had all these bars and all this stuff, and now there's this like singing thing that's very emotional in this song. So, you know, I try to change things up like that, or switch up the choruses to be more call and response with an audience and whatnot. And then I think either way, then okay, if you like, then you'll come out and see me live, because hopefully, you know, I have built a reputation where it's something that's really fun. I'm actually playing this Sunday in Oceanside at a club called Halo. David Wolfson is doing his Wise Mind open mic. I just remembered that because I just booked it like 2 days ago.
Wait, it's a place called Halo?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard
that. It's in Oceanside. It's like right around the corner from Barrier, which is the main spot that I think a lot of people know out there. But they're doing an open mic, and then they're having a live house band, and they're having some poets, and then I'm kind of featuring in collaboration with the band, which will be fun.
Oh, that's fun. So
yeah.
You have like a live band backing you, kind of?
Yeah, which again, like, I'm not sure. Like, these are people I'm not going to get a chance to rehearse with, so right. I don't know if I want to try to trust them to send them a bunch of music and learn it in a week. Like, that's a lot to ask of people, and have me not be a part of it. So I may make it an interactive improvisational thing, you know, which is always fun and kind of interesting. And then maybe I'll be like, oh, we'll make a song, you know, we'll try to do a rendition on the spot, but we'll see how it goes, you know. I
feel like you usually do an improv song anyway when you're...
I try, yeah, unless it doesn't fit the vibe, you know. Like, sometimes it feels like that takes away from... I could be making this rule up, you know, but, like, sometimes I feel like that can take away from the emotional stuff that's going on in the set. Like, it didn't feel right to do that at the release show. But then again, I feel like most of the time if I'm doing like an improv freestyle thing, it's usually to cater to the crowd a little bit more.
Right.
Like I don't necessarily need to do that for me, but like recognize I'm there to perform and connect and entertain. So like I'll do something entertaining and fun for people. And like it is fun, but I often go in imagining one particular type of set. And then, hopefully that works out and it connects with people. But
that makes sense.
then
Yeah.
again, I change it on the spot all the time. I painstakingly make a set, and then I change it all the way up to the last minute, and then I'm like, okay, finally I know what's going on, and then I get on stage, and then I realize something about the situation or the moment or the energy, and I switch things up. I might even do a song that I did not even think of or rehearse at all in the previous couple weeks. So
You're just like, yeah, no,
Hey.
this is the moment.
yeah, or someone might say something or something might happen, and I might be like, oh my goodness, that connects perfectly to this other thing I didn't even prepare to do. Like it would be really clutch to do that.
So let me just do that. Let me
Yeah,
just change it
yeah.
up.
I'm very willing to fall on my face, so it's okay if I screw up. Or that's where the improv skills come
You're
in.
a professional now.
Oh, I try.
Yeah, no, that's cool though. You're gonna have some live band backing coming up. I know you used to do the DJ backing, and
That was fun.
that
I would
was
go back to
fun.
that.
Yeah, that was a while ago too.
Yeah.
And but yeah, all your beats now, would you say you made them or?
No, I've
Okay.
never made beats. I just am lucky that talented people want to collaborate with me, because I have little to no musical skill at all. I just remix the alphabet obsessively.
Just acoustically.
That's it. And even that, I don't really know how to play guitar or anything.
Well,
you
your
know,
voice is acoustic.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
true. I never plug my voice in.
Just through the looper sometimes.
That's true. But yeah, so no, like, so this album is produced by Conscious Robot, who's a guy, it's a brother team, but mostly this one guy, Mike Phillips, and we've been collaborating since probably like 2018.
You think that's it?
Maybe a little earlier, but probably like 2017, probably the earliest.
Where are they from? Because I feel like I don't
think
know
it's
if I've
like-
met them. But
no,
I've-
you haven't.
No.
I haven't even met them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in contact on a monthly basis for years, but we've never met. And I'm always,
What?
yeah. I want to say they're from the Carolinas. I've
What?
gotten this wrong before.
And you've never met them?
I know. Yeah,
That's actually crazy to me.
I know. Yeah, I mean, we're both very obsessive. Like, it's very funny. Like, we'll mess with each other all the time, because he'll send me a new beat, and I'm like, this is amazing. And I go to click it, and it's like the Dropbox folder doesn't open because he's already deleted it and been like, I have to change one snare. Like, it's just so meticulous. And I'm like, dude, this is so annoying. And then I'm like, you know what? I do the same exact thing down to the last syllable of a verse.
And
So
you're
I
just
totally
saying
get
to
it.
the last second you're changing
It's
stuff.
right. You know, it is true.
So it's a match.
It is. Two people completely crazed by their work. But I what I really like about them is they have a lot of influences that are outside of like hip hop stuff. There's a lot of like electronic stuff. There's, they use like gent kind of music too. Like there's a lot of that feeling, but just using like synthy textures in their music. And there's like rock and indie stuff in there as well. And then, but also like a really fresh, cool sound in terms of like rapping and boom bap type shit stuff. So, yeah. So, I feel like because of that, it kind of prompts me to innovate and to move things around myself. So that's I feel good about that.
All right, cool. So I think let's get into this other song that we have ready for you.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce this one?
Is it?
Skanda?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes, that's the last song on the record.
Okay, great. We're going to listen to it.
Let's hear
All right,
it.
everyone. Here we go. Conscious Robot and AllOne. This is Skanda.
Shedding a layer and leaving a husk, leaving a husk. I cannot return to the me that I was, and I'm
empty container, forever in flux, forever in flux. That vessel a traitor, I need to adjust, I need to adjust. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it is or it isn't, remix it. Discarding nostalgia, a guarding persona, absconding the armor, Skandamara. My ID dying behind me, refining what defines me, i.e. revising the confining I me. It's blinding, combines me, defies and denies me. A lively present experience. If I ever see clearly, it's due to foregoing this character narrative, formed ego attachment with the habits and patterns I trap me in. Most of all, found comfort in a label overall. Now I'm overall, one and need to overhaul. That's no one's fault, but I'm over Bruce too. Bruce who? I am pure senses, perceptions, induced moods, awareness, wariness I'm infused to. New view, no more fearing the unknown. No familiar over the untold. I must go with gusto. Restraints that I've built up broke the trust though. It's all receipts from within to mold and leave me like the wind. Molding this me like a skin. I won't be the things that I've been. Openly receiving what is. Openly receiving what is. Openly receiving what is. What is. I'm shedding this layer and leaving a husk. Leaving a husk. I cannot return to the me that I was. The me that I was. An empty container forever in flux. Forever in flux. The vessel a traitor, I need to adjust. I need to adjust. What is. What is. Tumult recedes from within to mold and leave me like the winds. Molting this me like a skin. I won't be the things that I've been. Openly receiving what be here to feel it. Openly receiving what is. Openly knowing that my fear won't heal. Openly receiving what is. I'm here to feel it. My fear won't heal it. Chosen to be here to feel it. I'm shedding a layer and leaving a husk. Knowing that my fear won't heal it. Can I return to the me that I was? I'm here to feel it. An empty container forever in flux. My fear won't heal it. The vessel a traitor, I need to adjust. What is.
All right, we are back here in the studio with Bruce.
Do you feel transformed?
Yes.
Oh, good.
I actually had someone call me earlier before you got here and said that my show was transcendental.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we're a part of the transcendental show today, both of us.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, thanks for listening. That's the last song on the project. Bruce who? But yeah, it's this kind of this idea that, so I made this album. I had gone through a breakup, and a friend of mine bought me a book called When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. And in that book, there's this idea of these four maras that she talks about. And it's all about these ideas that, like, the different ways that we try to escape from our problems, or the ways that we avoid healing or changing and going through difficulty. And immediately, just because this is how my brain works, like right in the margins, I wrote potential 4-song project. And then I just let it, sit. But that was really helpful for me. And then eventually I just went into this feverish creating state like I usually do, and started making these songs after Conscious Robot sent me a bunch of beats. And that one is Skanda, is this idea that like when something bad happens, a lot of times we want to go back to familiar like creature comforts or familiar habits and routines and stuff. And like actually when something really bad and devastating or confusing happens, probably the best thing to do is to reevaluate all your routines and habits and like transform and maneuver yourself into a new place that serves you better, that the lessons that you learned from the problems you just experienced. So that was kind of my take on that idea.
That's interesting that the Four Maras was in that book, and that's where you got it from.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, you've had those songs for a little bit, and they were finally ready when you had that message that came to you.
Yeah. Well, then what was really interesting actually was like I wrote most of the songs following a tough time, and that was really helpful. And then I was performing these songs for like a while, like you said. And then when it came time to finally put the finishing touches on it and hear these songs again, I was kind of going through another tough time emotionally. And suddenly, like I was able to listen to the evolved and final versions of these songs and hear them, and they were like touching me emotionally, and like they were actually kind of doing what I had hoped they would do, years ago, and I was writing them about a totally different, in the wake of a totally different situation. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it gave me a lot of hope, because I think if you feel something as a creator, that's probably the only way you can make the audience feel something, because if you're just phoning it in and you're pretending, people sense that, I think. But if you're like crying when you're writing something, you have a much better chance of making people cry when they read it or they hear it,
Definitely.
So that's kind of, that's the feeling. So go buy books for your friends. I just found out my friend Colleen from the Never Ending Story bookstore in Babylon is listening in. So hello, Colleen. People go to support your local independent bookstores. It's good. Culture is good for you.
That's really interesting, because I've actually not even heard of that bookstore. So
It's new.
Oh.
Her and her dog Demeter just celebrated a year there.
Is it her and her dog?
Yeah, so her dog is there a lot, and I consider that
love
dog
that.
my bud. So, yeah.
That's cool.
But, yeah, absolutely.
Love a bookstore.
Yeah.
I think that's even cooler that it's an independent bookstore. 'Cause
Yeah.
most people just know about
Like
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. Or they Amazon Kindle, all that stuff.
Oof, Amazon.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
support local, support real people, support local artists and venues.
And snacks.
And local snacks. Mm-hmm. Brought to you by, I don't know.
Us.
Yeah.
We love a local snack.
I don't have a local snack to plug off the top of my head.
There's this place. Should I shout them out? Yeah, Taco Island Tex-Mex.
Whoa.
Fire.
Okay.
Yeah, they got the birria.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
like stew meat, right?
It's so good. Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
good.
that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
But yeah, there's so many local businesses. If you just went into a town, you'd be like, oh, look at this local business that I can support. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen it before.
That's right.
Yeah, just like the bookstore. I wouldn't have known, because I don't really go over that way. But maybe I will. Now I have a destination.
It might not be as convenient, but I think a lot of the things in our lives are that are enriching and valuable. They come from the interesting, spontaneous kind of moments that happen when you do, you take the long route, or you go the weird way, or, you take a moment to talk to someone you don't know or something like that. And then next thing you know, you've had, you add a little magic to your day. And, you need a little extra magic if you're going to get through these strange times.
Yeah, go out of your way. And that's even going out of your comfort zone in a way, too.
Exactly, right.
So either way, go out of your way, in your comfort way. Yeah. And, you never know what you're going to find.
That's right.
You might find Bruce in a bookstore.
You might find me in a bookstore. Good chance. Very good chance.
So do you want to show the people a live song?
Sure.
Are we ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, so which one would you like to do first?
Let's do Yama, which is the song that opens the album. Speaking of taking chances and taking risks, that's a lot of what this song is about.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So we're going to hear Yama, and Bruce is going to perform live right now. So
doing it.
Yeah, he's going to do it over the track with Conscious Robot. So is Conscious Robot listening?
I don't think so. I don't even know.
Our friend that we don't know.
He's very elusive, this person.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that you didn't even know them.
There'll be weeks where I don't know where this person is. Like, guy, we're making an album,
Yeah, that's right.
Art people are weird. We're weird folk.
Love it. Okay, everyone, here it is.
All right.
All right, Bruce, let's go.
Okay. Experience is my alma mater, gobbled up all a la carte phenomena. These tally marks are katamari, glommed upon my calamari. Sprawling arms are grabbing on my calling carved by all that mars me, scuffs and scars me. Till I'm gone, I'm not a goner. No, till I'm gone, I'm not a goner. Yamamara, ambiance, and I'm signing on until sayonara. I plant my seeds like Shapaharas. I plant my feet, can't stop the I hate the text. I know that's life, I'll roll the dice. I take a risk, I might get hurt. I'll learn to fly, and sure I'll die, but I'll live first. Take a chance, leave the nest, break a sweat, keep it fresh. Scared of risk, but dare to live. Never took a deeper breath. You've got to break an egg to be a fledgling, trembling on a ledge that sings. Let's spread these wings, stare into the abyss. Scared to death I live. Oh, stare into the abyss. Scared to death I'll live. Scared to death I'll. Anxiety's got me swamped in armor. My pocket mantra, plumb an ardor. One thing is sure, nothing's secure. Except in someone to procure, presence becomes the reward. Paralyzed in every ephemeral life. Paralyzed, breathless inside your impregnable walls. Dreading a loss, forgetting the cost. Take a predictable course, live as a corpse, stiff as a board, stiffened and bored. Cautious, dead as a doornail in a coffin. Often, omniphobic, I'll be open to the moment. Know this, omit what you don't live from your obit. Oh, I'm not scared of dying when terrifying when death arrives. Questions and regrets that are left behind me. Take a chance, leave the nest, break a sweat, keep it fresh. Scared of risk, but dare to live. Never took a deeper breath. You've got to break an egg to be a fledgling, trembling on a ledge that sings. Let's spread these wings, stare into the abyss. Scared to death I live. Oh, stare into the abyss. Scared to death I'll live. Scared to death I'll. With caution as our solemn partner. Alarm the charters caught docked at harbor. Eliminate what limits you, or choose to live limp in the liminal. Listen to that simple truth that ticks in you. This isn't an interlude. Timid, you won't live up, so you won't live. You won't live up, so you won't live until you give up the ghost. Hey, your calling rings true, pick up the phone. Construct low ceilings and stunt your growth. Perfection's a lie anxiety hides in. If you're dying and doing the do it, you're dying. Kneeling afraid to be beat hurts worse than scraping the knee. The bunker you made to retreat in a grave are the same sort of deep. Savor the bitter taste of defeat. Take a chance, leave the nest, break a sweat, keep it fresh. Scared of risk, but dare to live. Never took a deeper breath. You've got to break an egg to be a fledgling, trembling on a ledge that sings. Let's spread these wings, stare into the abyss. Scared to death I live. Oh, stare into the abyss. Scared to death I'll live. Scared to death, but I'll live. I've chosen to be here to feel it, knowing that my fear won't heal it. That song is Yama.
Yes. Guys, Bruce just did that live. All that vocal was live. That was pretty sick.
My headphones cut out?
No. It wasn't you.
Okay.
It wasn't me either, though, to be fair. But Bruce adapted.
I tried.
You did great.
I didn't hear the music briefly, and I was like, I threw me, but that's okay.
I tried to load them beforehand, as you saw,
I see,
because I knew they would do that, and this one still did it.
Okay, so it paused and lagged. That makes sense, because I thought the headphones were cutting out. So I was like, well, if I just keep my run going, I'll line back up when it comes back in.
And then it came back in.
It came back in, but I had to time travel back several seconds.
It's a good thing you know your own music.
I tried to adapt.
No, you did a great job with that.
That's the risk. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about that song.
That was actually the first song that I wrote for the project. And it's funny, I start the song with the term, or with the phrase, experience is my alma mater. And here we are performing the song at my actual alma mater school. But yeah, the song is, in what I learned from the book and from other research is like the concept of Yama as one of the Maras is that, it's essentially the idea that like you miss all the shots you didn't take. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you do not take a risk, you will not reap rewards. And a lot of like the value of, our fear of failure is often sometimes makes us act anxiously in ways that guarantee our failure, you know, or our fear of death makes us end up not living life, which is a death in itself. And so I felt especially compelled to write to that. You know, I was like fresh out of a breakup and all this stuff and having a hard time. And I was very much like, you know, in my early 30s, a struggling artist person, really feeling like, what am I doing with myself, as one periodically questions. And I just was so compelled by this idea of kind of ferociously being like, no, you know what, like, you actually only get to live if you insist you're going to, you know, or you only get to achieve the things you dream about if you actually decide to run after them and to go after them, you know. So that's
message.
a lot of that song, and it's been something that's kind of pushed me throughout my whole life. Is stubbornly just being like, yeah, but this is the thing I need and want. This is the person I am, and this is what I want to be in the world. And it may not make a lot of sense, especially the way the world is now, or how, you know, maybe there's not support for, you know, whatever artists or something in the way there could have been in other times. I don't know, but, you know, I just, once again, I'm just, this is what I am. So I sometimes have to write myself and hopefully help others by writing things that are reminders that, like, you just have to embrace the thing that you are and try your best to inhabit that as best and with as much like passion and love and vigor as you have in you, because the world needs that. The world needs your authenticity, and you're going to be like the best version of yourself if you I think if you like spend your time doing what you love. And so you're going to be happier, you're going to be better at what you do. People are going to receive just better energy from you if that's what you're doing. And I think if more people did that, you know, I think we'd feel a lot more loving and compassionate and happy and safe and empathetic toward each other. Because, you know, it's tough. It's tough out here. We're bogged down. We're struggling. So it's easy to feel thorny and feel a little abrasive in those times. So I understand that.
Yeah, I definitely respect that message, because, yeah, a lot of people are always like, not scared to be themselves, but sometimes, you know, sometimes,
absolutely, yeah.
So,
it is scary.
Yeah, but it's true. If you fully embody yourself and just like go for it, then you know, eventually you'll be more comfortable, which is
right.
I feel good. That's pretty much what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, think it's sad maybe, but like it does take a lot of bravery to be authentic, you know, and be sincere and not layer. And I think we're in a cultural time, like internet wise, and like the comedy of things, like I find it's warping my brain. Like anytime I see something that's just sincere and earnest and like genuine, and it doesn't have like two more layers of jokes happening to it, or like something horrible happens, or the video clip cuts to somebody making a joke about that thing, like I'm always anticipating something more cynical or more you know, judgy or something. But it's actually like, no, this is just a moment for face value what it is, and it's someone just being real, or it's a, you know, an animal in the wild or something. Even that, you know, nothing is sacred anymore, I think.
I know.
So, but there's and it reminds me, there's a great David Foster Wallace essay, I think it's from the 90s, but he talks about TV and talks about like how a lot of things on TV were really like ironic and really like, you know, everyone was kind of mean and everything was a joke on someone else and everything was a joke. And I think we're in like an extreme version of that now, but he says like the way to kill off that irony, like the death of irony or whatever, is just being authentic and sincere and being sweet and being kind and being real and not half-stepping in what you're doing or what you're saying, and not shying away from if you feel a little corny, you know, like if you're being a little whatever, cringe or something, like but if that's what you're about, like who cares? Cringe is just a judgment, you know.
Right.
So I think, but we're so worried because everyone sees us all the time and everyone's got comments on comments on comments about everything. So it's hard, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of things are very performative, I say, as I'm performing on the radio. You know.
Yes.
So I think that's always the journey.
We should shout out yesterday's Super Bowl performance, because I feel that Kendrick was like so real, and a lot of people were hating, and that's really just because they can't tell how real he was being, I feel, and or can't relate at all, or you know. And it's, I just want to say, like, you don't need to be able to relate to someone's art, you know. You, like, sometimes, you know, I feel like, for instance, Bruce is like always good at helping to get the crowd to relate a bit. Like you were saying, you can do crowd work and all that stuff. But I feel like Kendrick just like showed up and was like, "This is me. This is the culture I'm representing, and these are the people that I'm representing." And you know, there's a lot of people hating, and it's, I don't know, it's just kind of dumb in my opinion. But
yeah, no, I think so. I think it was a masterful performance. I think it's really clever. I think it's really important. I think it was really sincere. It was so well performed, you know, everybody involved, from the choreography to the set pieces to the songs and the medleys of them and the guests and all the, you know, little subliminal things going on.
Yeah.
And especially given the times we're in all sorts of ways, whether that's political or social or musical, etc., you know. And I think, you know, there's an interesting thing, because you could, on one hand, you could say, like, the people that don't like it, it's like, well, that's not for you. But in another way, like, yeah, the message is for you as much as anybody.
Right.
You know, like, on one hand, you know,
it's like extra for you because you're the one who's like judging this and not.
Right. Like, you're not giving a chance to something that you don't immediately understand. Right.
Yeah. Like, what did you want? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like he was just so, like, straightforward with his message, and, yeah, it's crazy how many people, like, it went over their heads still, somehow.
Yeah. Well, and I think people don't necessarily love to be challenged, you know, like, people are so, whatever, busy or angry or confused, or they're, like we were talking about before, like, people are struggling in their individual lives, and so when something outside of themselves asks them to take time or do emotional work to understand something they don't understand, like, they just want their creature comforts, you know, like, we're in a time where,
I like that.
Yeah, like, I think
creature comforts.
Yeah, you know, people just want the familiar stuff that feels good, and if they're, you know, like, maybe if you know, and I'm not trying to excuse people who are not being empathetic, you know, it's more just like, I think that's just a human reality, is that unfortunately, and there are certain powers that be that are kind of capitalizing on that feeling, right? It's the same thing with, like, it reminds me of nostalgia a lot, right? Like, I have a line in a song I've been writing where it says, like, nostalgia is a blanket when the future is cold. And, like, you know, so you're going back to the past obsessively because it's comfortable. And I heard this great podcast about a nostalgia once, and it was this idea that, like, even if things were bad in the past, you already know how they turned out. So, like, focusing on that is still comforting, because when you're in the present and you're thinking about the future, all that's uncertain. Like, so even if it could be good, you don't know that for sure, so you're anxious. So let's go back to, remember when we were kids? Remember this music we always listened to? Remember when the first Ghostbusters came out? Like, let's just go watch another franchise that's the same thing we've seen for 30 years, you know? Like,
let's go visit the, I recently looked up a place in Manhattan, and it said, like, Ghostbusters Firehouse next to it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's go visit the Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Which is great, right? Your childhood memories, whatever, all that stuff is wonderful, you know, but I also just think, like, sometimes people use that as these blinders they put on themselves to feel comfortable and to ignore what's happening to them in the moment or to them in the future and whatnot, and not do the hard work and the emotional work and the intellectual labor of learning and understanding things outside of themselves, right? And I think that's just the whole journey of life. It's like, you would hope to become better and more caring, loving, intelligent, deeper feeling, you know, understand things outside of yourself. But, you know, I don't know, I guess we don't necessarily culturally engender that kind of thinking all the time, right? It's just get in line, become a cog in a machine, generate money.
Yeah, it's so weird how we've allowed society to become that, because I feel like, I mean, you did go to school and stuff, but
sure.
I feel like you're not obviously in that wave, and, like, at least are aware of, if you were to fall into that wave at all, like, they, like, nah, this isn't it.
Right.
And, you know, I was just talking to some people yesterday about, like, retirement and stuff, and I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, you know, like, am I ever gonna retire? possibly not. You know, but at the same time, like, there's people who did go to school that still can't get a job that has anything to do with what they spent $1 million on. And so, you know what? I'm risking it all. So, but but it's also like what we were talking about before. Like, I rather fill my time with something more meaningful than, like, I'm not going to just, like, fake it to become a cog, you know? Like, but.
Well, that's the trade-off, right? Is the stability versus, I don't know, authenticity or novelty, you know? Like, sometimes the stable road is just not the one for you, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting, though. You know, it's like they're talking about, oh, I'll retire at 57, and I'm just like, could you imagine going to work every day like that? And I know so many people do. Yeah. Like, and I just don't live that life, and it's just, I don't know.
Well, I think it comes down to what, you know, it's like a lot of things, right? Like, I can't imagine myself having the normal, quote unquote, like, whatever, nuclear family with kids in a house and blah, blah, blah in the suburbs, right? Like, but if that's what makes you happy, go ahead and do that thing.
Sure, yeah.
Right? But also don't, you know, judge me for the way I'm doing my thing. And I think that is something you see a lot, is like people, and you've probably seen this sentiment around, it's floating around, but like this idea that like people will tell you, you have a dream, you have an idea, you have some off-kilter, sort of left-field artistic concept of what your life could be, and people will immediately, instead of encourage you or try to help you, the way they try to help you is to discourage you. You know, they're like, oh, actually, but have you thought about, here's all the ways that can go wrong, and you want to, you know, and I think the idea that I want to get to is this concept of like, well, those people who took the easy road, or took the familiar road, that there's more of a roadmap to, like it would feel really bad to them to encourage you, because they'd be like, well, wait, why didn't I do that then? You know, like they might feel a little bitter about it. I don't know, you know.
That's an interesting
Sometimes
take.
I think that's some people's perspective. It's like, you can't do that. I didn't do it, you know. Like I didn't, like because it validates them to discourage like experimental way of living, because they didn't have the gall to do that themselves.
That does make sense, actually.
But I don't say, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I think sometimes that's inherent. That is in people, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
But the other thing is true, too. Like, but I think all of that comes back to what we were talking about, which is like you should embody what you believe. Like, you know what you want out of your life. Don't feel shame about it, you know? Like, try not to. There's a lot of easy ways to judge yourself against other stuff, you know? Like, it's, you know, the comparison is the thief of joy, right? So you can't.
Fact.
You know, and that works both ways. But, you know, that keeping up with the Joneses thing. And I think a lot of people, they feel like they've reached milestones, but on who's measuring them? You know, is it you and your spirit, or is it someone else and you just want to feel like you're keeping up with them?
I agree. That's a good point.
Yeah. You make the rules.
That's right.
To a certain degree. Don't go kooky out there.
Yeah, you make the rules to a certain degree. That's true. So, yeah, we're still talking, guys, because I got an extra hour today.
Hour, folks.
Yeah, if you were thinking, where's the next show? There is no next show right now. The next show is at 5 o'clock when Democracy Now! Comes on. So, but Bruce will be leaving me soon, and I am very glad that Bruce was here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think we've had great talks, and we have another song to do.
We do.
Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Can you actually turn the gain down on my mic a little bit? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
Yeah, I can turn this down.
I just think, or I'm going to back up so far from the desk at a certain point.
It sounded good to me, but also, yeah, it might have been a little high.
Yeah.
How's it sound right now?
This feels good.
Okay, I turned you down a little. All right.
I'm going to pray that this beat doesn't cut.
I let it play the whole way through while we were just talking.
Okay. See, we're learning, we're growing.
Yes, because I have realized that this happens, and I did do it to the song, the last one, but I don't know, it didn't work, so hopefully it works now, because this went through twice. But, all right.
So this song's called Diva Putra. It's about hedonism, kind of, you know? Sometimes when you're not feeling so good, when you're feeling upset, you just want to jump into all the good feelings, and that might not be the best direction. Maybe you got to look at your wound to learn how to bandage it up. Bandage it.
Bandage it up.
Not bandage, not Band-Aid, both.
Another great message.
This is a PSA.
This is a PSA. This is the one PSA. All right, here we go. AllOne. Did it already cut out?
Yes.
Good luck.
Oh, wow. We're going on hard mode. Every arrow I see is a shape made of dopamine. If I follow where those will lead, I find a safe haven so serene. Every arrow I see is a shape made of dopamine. If I follow where those will lead. What good is a smile if I'm gasping for air? Need to breathe this all in as I'm grasping for care, acknowledging the agony. I can manage these flares, looking at the wounds I can better bandage what's there. I've chosen to be here to feel it, knowing that my fear won't heal it. And every arrow I see is a shape made of dopamine. If I follow where those will lead, I find a safe haven so serene. Every arrow I see is a shape made of dopamine. If I follow where those will lead. If I gaze in the face of the pain, then I'm changing its shape as I name it with grace, as I bravely say it's okay as I tame it. I'm trained in my brain to relay, this ain't gonna break me. Gaze in the face of your pain, then you're changing its shape as you name it with grace, as you bravely say it's okay as you tame it. You're trained in your brain to relay, this ain't gonna break me. I've chosen to be here to feel it, knowing that my fear won't heal it. And every arrow I see is a shape made of dopamine. If I follow where those will lead, I find a safe haven so serene. Hedonic treadmill running in place, stuck in my ways as I'm running away. I chase those great feelings, ain't feeling so great though. Tornado I'm going through, I notice too, I'll lay low. Escape ropes, lighter headed than hearted, I stay choked. Made note of egress and regress, case closed. Sidestep the storm and miss that rainbow's great gold payload. Stay bold. And every arrow I see is a shape made of dopamine. If I follow where those will lead, I find a safe haven so serene. Every arrow I see is a shape made of dopamine. If I follow where those will lead. If I gaze in the face of my pain, then I'm changing its shape as I name it with grace, as I bravely say it's okay as I tame it. I'm trained in my brain to relay, this ain't gonna break me. Gaze in the face of your pain, then you're changing its shape as you name it with grace, as you bravely say it's okay as you tame it. You're trained in your brain to relay, this ain't gonna break me. I've chosen to be here to feel it, knowing that my fear won't heal it. Thanks, y'all.
Me clapping.
We didn't cut out.
We didn't cut out. That's because we let that song play like 3 times beforehand. Wow, though, I'm really glad you were here today, and the message is strong in the new EP and in your music in general. That song you said at the end, not letting your fear get in the way, basically.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what we talked about today. So I think that's a great place to wrap, honestly.
Well, thank you so much for having
Get
me.
it?
Yeah.
Great place to wrap.
I should catch on to these things easier.
Yeah, next time. But all right, everyone, we've had Bruce AllOne Voice today in the studio. Check out 4 Maras that just got released.
Right.
Is this a booklet from it?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you with a lyric booklet that comes with quotes from the books that I was reading when I wrote it. And,
yes.
Those are available on my Bandcamp.
Thank you so much.
So you can find me. My tag everywhere is @AllOne Voice. That's all spelled out, like AllOne Voice with an extra L. But yeah, and then you can find 4 Maras on Spotify, on all of those places that you might stream music. But the best way to support it would be on Bandcamp. That's allonevoice.bandcamp.com. So please come say hello, get on the mailing list, and come out to a show. And be good to yourselves, be good to one another, and stay true and stay loving.
All right. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Great having you in here today.